Hello, beautiful. How are you doing today? So earlier, I was on a live podcast YouTube call with a fellow HSP creator called Michael Schwengel. And we talked about how important it is for highly sensitive people, neurodivergent empaths, to find one another, the importance of community and collaboration, and how wonderful it was for him and I to find each other, to be able to do some collaborations. And towards the end of the live, we talked about, some of you know that I will be co-hosting the HSP Summit, a live 5-day online event for which you can register, coming up December 16th to 20th. And you can find all the details in the link that I'm putting right here. It's the landing page and you'll see all the details. And Michael is the person with whom I am co-hosting. We're going to be giving some more details about what we'll talk about each day. So take a listen, and here we go.
How are you?
I'm good.
Anyone who's watching, I'm Michael. I am an HSP, YouTuber, and a coach and founder of a platform called Kindreds, supporting highly sensitive creators and entrepreneurs. And I'm here today with my friend Annie. Annie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. So I'm Annie, and I'm also a YouTuber, and I'm also the author of a book called A Splendid Mess, Chronicles of a Highly... Wow. Okay, we're live. Chronicles of a Practically Enlightened Misfit. Yes, it is my book. I truly wrote it.
It's a great book too.
It's a memoir from the perspective of being a highly sensitive person.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book. So Annie and I we're planning this summit coming up in about a week or so, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But we wanted to just talk about this subject of community for highly sensitive people and why we find it to be so important in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you say community, and I'm also equating it in my head because of what we're doing, like to collaboration.
Yeah.
But it's the idea of connecting with people that are like us. Because I know my whole life, it's kind of been a one-woman show or haven't been understood. Like, I'm sure a lot of people who are highly sensitive also feel the same. We're just to everything. We perceive the world differently. We have different needs. And I know that for me, things changed when I actually discovered I was a highly sensitive. I discovered the word HSP just 3 years ago. And it was life-changing. And that's where I saw that connecting with other people, which I didn't do right away, but just inside knowing that there was a community, that there was a tribe that was actually like millions of people that have the same kind of brain and sensitivity as I do. It was just like I wept. It was just such a relief to know that, oh my God, it wasn't me that's just total screw up and really doesn't fit in this world. And what am I doing here? There's actually millions of us that think the same way. So
Yeah. And I'm guessing, Annie, you probably feel the same way as I do as a YouTuber. When we share our stories and put ourselves out there to support other HSPs, I know that I get so much from the connection with people in the comments and, people just that share similar stories, the resonance, the connection that comes through that for me too is just, it feels like it gives one permission to just fully step into your life and be who you are. It's pretty
yeah. And like you just said, like when I do videos, you do videos on YouTube. When I read the comments, either of people saying, oh my God, Annie, thank you, I'm like that too, then it validates me, because even knowing what I am and speaking about it, hearing that other people resonate and tell me. In a way, I'm doing the videos to tell them they're not alone,
Right.
but by them commenting, they're letting me know that I'm not alone, because it's an ongoing thing, right? That it's still difficult, even when we have community. There's still a part of us that has been so programmed for our entire life that we feel like there's something wrong and we don't fit and all that. So anyway, when I read the comments, it does two things. It fuels me and makes me feel better. But what it also does, it's like, it warms my heart, because anytime I read a comment from somebody who says, "Oh my God, I'm so glad I found you. I didn't know. And now I know other people are like that." It's like my heart melts, because it's like, I know how you feel. Finally discovering that it's not just you. So it's so rich. Um, Beginning to swim in a community in the same pool with lots of fishes.
Yeah.
That's HSP.
No, it's great. And like whatever container that looks like, I find that when I'm collaborating with someone like you, where there's just this shared understanding of sensitivity and life experience, it's like if you're going about your day-to-day life, there's this constant discordance with your own inner experience and the prevalent paradigm of the outside world. There's this constant state of like, how do I fit in? There's this kind of constant noise, I think, that a lot of us face, no matter where we're at in our journey. And when you're able to have this kind of connection, that noise can just like quiet down for a moment, and you get to just live and experience and create.
And because I'm just thinking, before we had this conversation, we were talking, just the two of us, about the summit that we're planning.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the beauty of now this collaboration of two HSPs working together, it's kind of interesting in two ways. One, it's so good because we feel free to express our needs and see each other's values and how we need to proceed to make each other feel better and be seen, because the freedom to know that we can say things and know that it will not be considered as weird or be offended and just disturbing. Oh, they're not going to like me, I shouldn't say that because he's going to think I'm like, oh my God. But the other part that's interesting that we saw this morning is that we both, even though we are teachers and knowledgeable and have all this awareness, we still there's still a part of us that feels odd about saying some certain things to the other, like, because of who I am, I'm not really comfortable with that, and we're still afraid
Yeah.
not to be seen, not to be accepted for how we work.
Yeah, for those of you who are tuning in, basically, I was sharing with Annie that I have there's like certain dynamics of social media that feel really energetically unstable for me. And I was sharing that with Annie and just kind of sorting out what our collaboration will look like in preparation for our summit. And um, I realized that one of the components that have kind of made me a lone wolf in a lot of ways is just that this fear of, if I collaborate with someone, even someone who's also an HSP, I'm going to have some kind of experience that I need to work with within myself that is going to either cause the other person to like push away or think that I'm too sensitive, too difficult, or I will have to deny, suppress a part of myself in order to be in relationship. Mm-hmm. And it's the trauma that so many of us live with and are grapple with. And even in these kinds of more, safe containers, it still comes up. And
yeah,
luckily, if there's trust that's built and there's that shared level of understanding, then those are the places where it's, hopefully safe to kind of work through some of that stuff, so that there is permission to show up authentically. Looks like we may have lost Annie's feed. hopefully she'll jump back on here. But while Annie's offline for a minute, yeah, Aisnas, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Yeah, I'm glad you found that to be relatable. You're back, Annie.
I just
Oh, no worries. You're back. So yeah, I was just kind of punctuating that point around that when you're able to find that community, those connections, and you're able to build that trust, it's a space where you can start experimenting with what it would look like to show up authentically, to bring your full self to a relationship.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like such a deep trauma for highly sensitive people, because we grew up suppressing so much of who we are, that finding out who we actually are, even with all the work, we still need to see it happen in the world in a safe space,
Right.
for us to actually start embodying it. Because
Mhm.
it's all good to do the inner work,
Yeah,
and
but if it's
all
just
that
up
healing,
here,
it's still not in there. And you were talking about kind of why you've been a lone wolf all your life, and the wounds that still come up, even, in this safe relationship. And for me, I was thinking I've been the lone wolf in part, like it's been me all my life, pretty much. Uh, it's because there was so much bullying in my life. So now collaboration with people, there's there's a trigger in there, a part of me that says, any people are not safe, any people are not safe, something's going to happen here. So for me, it's bringing that up, but I love that I'm aware of it, and working with somebody like you, collaborating with somebody like you, allows me to kind of soothe that part and change the story.
hmm hmm
And that's why, oh my god, it's so important, and that's part of the reason why I'm so excited about the summit that we're doing.
yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about it for a few minutes and
Let's
just
do that. Yeah. And thanks everyone for joining. Thanks Caitlin and Sammy for jumping in. And I know there's some kind of comments and questions that might be coming in, but we're putting on this summit in about a week where we'll be able to dive into these topics in more detail. So coming up on December 16th to the 20th, Annie and I are launching the HSP Summit. It's a free 5-day summit where we are exploring different subjects around being highly sensitive people. And Annie, do you want to hold up the URL there? There you go. So if you want to go to thehspsummit.com, we've set up a site where you can register for free. And website looks like this, where you can read about the different days and again, register for free. We're going to be going live on Monday through Friday, the 16th to the 20th, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time. And it's going to be an ongoing conversation series for that week between Annie and myself. And then at the latter portion of the call, we're going to have a Q&A where you're welcome to, provide your feedback and thoughts, and we'll respond to them. We might even bring people on Spotlight, to have more of a discussion live. So we're really looking forward to it. Right now, we've got, I think, over around like 60 people that are going to be attending, and I think it's going to be a really neat place to experience community like we've been talking about, and to have some really deep and inspiring conversations.
Yeah. And I want to say that even though it's live, first of all, it's scheduled for an hour. We don't know what's going to happen. It might really extend, if depending how the conversation goes. But if you only have that hour allocated, every day the recording will be available after for free for 24 hours for people who registered. So each day, if you're somewhere else around the world, or the timing was just not right for you, you'll be able to not ask questions, but you'll be able to listen to the conversation. And also at the end of the week, the whole package will be available for sale if you just want to have it in your toolbox for your life, and to listen again to some of the things, because I think it's going to be really good. I'm super excited.
Yeah,
It's my first collaboration on that subject. I talk a lot on my YouTube. It's all solo, and I'm loving when we're talking together, and I'm excited about it.
Me too. It just feels so effortless when we have these conversations. It's a really great opportunity to mine from our life experience and wisdom, and share that with other people. So I think it's going to be really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure to save your spot. So go to
the HSPsummit.com. And even if you just Google HSP Summit or Google the HSP Summit, I think our website comes up first too. So it should be pretty easy to find. But yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And also, just as an add-on, you'll see it on the landing page. But when you register, you're going to get next week. You're going to get a guide so that you can prepare actually for the summit with some questions, so that you have some reflections about these topics that we're going to talk about. And also, each day, when you're registered, when you're registered, you're going to get a freebie, a goodie thing, a little free download to add to your HSP Summit swag bag.
Yeah. and just to you can read more about this if you go to the website. But the 5 days that we're covering are, the first day is, do you feel like an alien? Welcome to the world of the HSP. The second day is on gifts, challenges, and wisdom. The third day is talking about career paths and society roles. Then we go into love life as an HSP, which we could probably spend an entire week on alone.
For sure.
and then day 5, we're talking about aligning yourself with your authentic self to thrive in 2025.
Yeah.
So thehspsummit.com. I think we're going to probably jump on a couple more of these lives in the coming week or so leading up to the event. And awesome, Sammy, that you registered. We're looking forward to seeing you all there. And
we'll be back and talk more and start the conversations before the summit.
And I'll throw in the description of this live recording links to both of our YouTube channels. So if you're coming from Annie's or mine, you'll be able to check out some of our stuff beforehand, so you know what you're.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Michael.
Right. Thank you, Annie. Thanks everyone for joining.
Everybody.
See you
Looking
soon.
forward to seeing a lot of you. Bye.
Bye.